From Anthony Joshua's legendary performance against Francis Ngannou to one of the greatest boxers of all time giving him the edge against the Gypsy King, here's why Tyson Fury will never beat Anthony Joshua. At one point in time, everyone thought Fury would smoke AJ with ease. But after both men squared off with the Predator, there's been a massive shift in the narrative. And you can't blame the boxing world for their change of opinion because there was a huge difference in how both men dealt with Ngannou. When the Cameroonian was set to face Fury, everyone thought he'd come in swinging with terrible technique while Fury would outclass him and get the W easily. To the boxing world's surprise, the exact opposite happened. In fact, the Predator was out there looking like he'd been boxing for years, and it was incredible to witness. His power and technique were so good that he even scored a vicious knockdown in the third round of the fight. Even otherwise, he was piecing up the Gypsy King with ease, while all Tyson did was land some weak jabs. Not to mention, he even elbowed Francis by mistake, yet it did zero damage to the Predator as he ate it with ease. The former UFC heavyweight champ had such an impressive performance that he was ranked as the 10th best heavyweight under the WBC after the fight. Almost everyone had Ngannou winning the bout, except the judges, of course. When it was announced that Fury won by split decision, everyone was pissed. 90% of boxing fans were sold on the fact that Francis had done enough to get the job done. And it didn't take long for the robbed comments to flood every social media post about the fight. People were insanely disappointed with Fury's showing and didn't feel he deserved a win for such a lackluster performance. Ever since this fight, the boxing world has turned on Tyson because his showing was nothing short of disgraceful. He'd been talking all that trash for years just to barely win against a guy who's never boxed before. So this alone was enough for the boxing world to start losing faith in his ability to beat AJ. And things only got worse for the Gypsy King after Anthony's performance against Francis. Since Ngannou almost beat Fury, we were all expecting a crazy fight between him and AJ as well. But in the end, Joshua annihilated the Predator within 2 rounds. With about a minute left in the first round, Joshua hit Ngannou with a vicious right cross that sent him straight to the canvas. Everyone in attendance and those watching at home went wild. The man who didn't even seem fazed by Fury's elbow had just gotten knocked down. Ngannou barely got up in time, and you could tell that AJ's punch did a lot of damage. Then in round 2, AJ outdid himself and treated us to his greatest round ever. With about 2 minutes left in the round, AJ landed another right hand on Ngannou's jaw, prompting him to clinch AJ. Then, once again, with a minute left, Joshua straight up demolished Francis like he was some bum. First he hit him with a jab to the face, then with a jab to the body, before landing a lethal overhand right that knocked Francis down yet again. He had a look of defeat on his face, but he managed to get back up, though it was useless because just a few seconds later, Anthony hit him with another powerful right hand that knocked the Predator out cold. It was unbelievable because Ngannou had never been knocked down, let alone knocked out. But AJ managed to put his lights out within 2 rounds. Now, if you compare that legendary performance to the stinker that Tyson put up in October of 2023, it only makes sense to predict that Joshua would piece up the Gypsy King if they met. I mean, just think about it. First, Ngannou took Fury the distance. Then, on top of that, Tyson lost the fight, according to many people. Then AJ just came in and destroyed Francis like he was some loser who'd never fought before. After such a series of events, how on earth can anyone in their right mind think that Fury even has a chance to beat Joshua? Not to mention, right now AJ's having one of the best runs of his career. So his confidence is at an all-time high. Like any sport, boxing is a mental game. And once you're feeling on top of the world the way AJ is, it's hard for anyone to come in your way. This man knows how to respond to adversity because he bounced back from the Andy Ruiz loss. And then after losing to Alexander Usyk twice, he's done it again even though everyone lost faith in him. But Joshua knew what he was capable of, so he went out there and destroyed Jermaine Franklin, Robert Helenius, Otto Wallin, and Francis. Just like that, he's on a 4-fight win streak with his last 3 wins coming via KO. What's more, he's being backed and hyped up by basically everyone in the boxing world. And even if Fury tries to talk trash, AJ can just ignore it. AJ's currently more confident than ever, and the way he boxed against Ngannou's proof of that. But I can't say the same for Fury. As I told you earlier, everyone's turned on Tyson, and now he's pretty much looked at as a joke. And on top of that, it's clear as day that the Ngannou fight has done a number on his confidence. He knows that he looked like a fool that night and made boxing look bad. He also knows that if he loses to Usyk, it's all over for him. Clearly, there's a ton of pressure on the Gypsy King. so he's not riding the same wave of confidence that AJ is. And that'll make a massive difference if and when they face off. What's more, if you look at all the fighters both men have faced, AJ has almost always performed better than Fury did. Tyson could only scrape decision victories against Kevin Johnson, Vladimir Klitschko, Otto Wallin, and Francis, while AJ KO'd every single one of those dudes. Yeah, you heard that right. The only thing Fury has over AJ is that he KO'd Dillian Whyte in the 6th round, unlike Joshua, who did it in the 7th. But come on now, that's pretty much the same thing. Based on all this, I think it's safe to say AJ's the better and more complete fighter. Sure, Fury's got that crazy reach and deadly jab, and of course he's pretty technically sound, but he ain't on AJ's level. Some Tyson supporters point to his elusiveness and movement to claim that AJ's gonna have a tough time landing punches against him, but what they're forgetting is that Joshua strikes with such precision that it's impossible not to get hit by him. And since he's more confident than ever and Fury isn't, I can see him walking down the Gypsy King and securing the KO victory. Plus, AJ's combos are deadly and he's too good at setting up that right hand of his, so even if Fury brings his A-game, I just don't see how it could be enough for Joshua, who's knocked out nearly every single one of his opponents. Not only does Joshua have some of the most powerful punches in the world, but he's also got the speed, precision, and technical skills that make him too OP. What's more, AJ's defensive skills have only gotten better, so if Fury thinks he can knock him down the way he knocked Wilder down, then he's in for a rude awakening. When you couple all this with the fact that Anthony's current trainer, Ben Davison, is Fury's former trainer, it's safe to say that Fury stands no chance. Davison knows Tyson better than anyone else, and he can help AJ pick the Gypsy King apart like it's nothing. Now, if you think I'm being unreasonable with my prediction, then how about listening to what Ngannou and Klitschko themselves have to say about the possible matchup? Both men have faced off against Anthony and Tyson, and both men think AJ's the better fighter. After his fight with Joshua, Ngannou said that for now he's predicting a win for Anthony if and when he faces Fury. As for Klitschko, he said hands down Joshua when asked who'd win, before calling him a complete fighter. Vladimir pointed out that technically, size-wise, weight-wise, and power-wise, AJ's too good. And on top of that, he called him a good learner. Meanwhile, he called Fury a fart in the wind, before adding that boxing has seen names like Fury in the past who can be successful for a bit, but not for too long since they lack discipline. Despite wishing Tyson well, Klitschko said that he doesn't see the Gypsy King getting the job done against AJ because of his discipline, which Vladimir thinks is more important than motivation. And of course, they aren't the only ones who are riding the AJ hype train. Campbell Hatton said that, going off current form, you have to say that AJ beats Fury. Otto Wallin, who recently faced AJ, said that after their bout, he's changed his mind on the matchup and is leaning more towards Joshua. So, from Anthony Joshua's legendary performance against Francis Ngannou to one of the greatest boxers of all time giving him the edge against the Gypsy King, here's why Tyson Fury will never beat Anthony Joshua.